What's up, guys? My name's Christian, and this is
Tony.
And together we are the Resell Brothers. If you're new to the channel, last year we did over $600,000 in sales, and this year we're hitting close to that $750,000 mark. In this video, we're going to go over our last 7 days worth of sales, averaging over $2,000 a day. So we're going to show you what's selling right now, coming up on these winter months, show you what you need to be buying to get that high dollar ASP. So we're going to get into the numbers and show you what's been selling for us and what you should be picking up as reseller.
All right, guys, we're going to start going over some of these numbers and going over some of the items. $14,900 in 1 week. That's 7 days, over $2,000 a day. Average total sales. It's a goal we've been trying to hit for a while. We've been very close, but we finally did it. 14.9, 12.4 on eBay, 2,100 on Posh, and about $356 on Mercari. Working on Mercari, but total of 495 units. And yeah, we're going to show you guys some of the items that we did sell with our average asking sale price or average sale price at $33. We're people that are actually doing it. We're YouTube resellers that we're more sellers than YouTubers. We sell a lot of stuff. We sell, like I said, we're shooting for $750,000 in total sales. You have other people that say 600,000, or not 600. We have other people that say 100,000, six-figure resellers that are sometimes more YouTubers than resellers.
And there's a lot of six-figure resellers that aren't making six figures.
That it's kind of evident, and we hope that you can learn more from us. We feel like we're more resellers than we are YouTubers, and that's why we throw out stuff about software so you guys can really optimize your time.
Utilize all the tools that we utilize. As you can see, we've scaled to quite a large size, and we've not done that without help. So let's get to this.
Let's get to some stuffies.
Guys, for this first one, we have this Patagonia Conjo jacket. It's like a real fuzzy, super soft Patagonia jacket.
I can guarantee that's not how you say that.
Well, whatever. Conjo jacket. It's like a bomber jacket. These Patagonia jackets, Patagonia has fallen off a little bit. It doesn't sell for quite as much. The vintage stuff actually can go for crazy money, but just the regular modern stuff's not crazy, so don't pay up too much for it. But this was a little bit of an exception. Sold for $57. This is a little more of a substantial piece, and this sold for $57. So if you see this style, maybe pick it up.
Also, a fun fact about that one is it got, for some reason, eBay took it down, and it was when it shifted, and when the listing ended, they took it down, and it didn't get relisted. So we found that, and so check your inventory is the moral of that story. Vintage LL Bean. You can tell it's vintage because it says what? Made in the US of A. Yep, see, made in USA. It was in okay shape. It's nothing that was, cool pattern, nothing crazy. It's just a plain old LL Bean. So the vintage didn't really add a ton of value, but around $20 for it, we'll take it all day.
And if you're new to the channel as well, we have our custom SKUs. First, we have the number, and then we have the cost average, whatever shopping trip that was. So the cost average for this was $5.69, and then we have the date that it was listed. So this was listed 9/24. As you can see, it sold really quickly. So if you're watching this video and you want to know how fast something sold, if we don't say it, you can look up in this little SKU section and you can tell how much it sold for.
And the reason we put the date is because if we see that it was listed in January of 2024, we're like, okay, we've had this for close to a year without having to go back and look it up. We can just see
take an offer.
Take the offer.
Next is a Holderness and Bourne golf polo. This is a good bread and butter brand for us. There are more substantial pieces. Obviously, jackets are going to sell for more. Quarter zips are going to sell for more. They're very pattern dependent as well, but this is a basic polo, sold for $26.60, and it sold really quickly. As you can see, it listed 9/24. So Holderness and Bourne is a great bread and butter golf brand if you're not already aware.
One of the few left. Holderness and Bourne, Grayson.
We pretty much always pick it up.
Those are two of the main ones. Reigning Champ. This was actually a new brand to us. We hadn't found this before. Looked it up.
There's a logo.
Turned out these sweatpants were pretty good. They were joggers as well because they're down there at the bottom. Got the crimpage, but they sold for $47.50, and it sold very quickly. This one was, pretty much 10/24, and sold in October. So.
And these actually had I don't know why I'm telling you this, but they had a small stain on them that I was pretty sure I could get out, and I looked at the comps, and they had a crazy sell-through rate. So I was like, yeah, whatever, we'll try it, and it came out really easily. So don't be afraid of stains. If it looks like it'll come out and it has a good sell-through rate, maybe give it a shot. And if you can't get it out, just sell it for break even, and you can move on. Next is
Moving
a
on.
Robert Graham vest. This is a little different, kind of an outerwear Robert Graham. People know Robert Graham for their crazy pattern shirts. You have Robert Graham special edition. Some of them can be worth hundreds of dollars, but this is an outerwear jacket. Listed $224, so it took a minute to sell, but it did sell for $38, which is a pretty good ASP for us. We pick up Robert Graham, but we are a little more selective with what we're picking up.
In price.
Yeah.
These are Sean John's.
Shout out Puff Daddy. If you don't know, Sean John is owned by P. Diddy, so take with that information what you will.
Thanks, Diddy.
Watch your profanity. Right, I'm sorry.
These are cargo pants that were new. Put a
Linen.
little linen Y2K in there because they're big and baggy. Yep. Sold for, I believe it was $28. Took
So
an
quick.
offer. Sold very quickly. Sean John and what are the other ones? Fubu, Echo Unlimited, South Pole.
Paco.
If they're that Y2K style, they're bigger, they're baggier. They have some like cool designs on the back pockets or something like that. Those tend to sell rather quickly and for decent money too. So the small sizes that are like skinnier fits and stuff. Those
I don't think I've ever seen a small
don't
size
do this.
Sean John.
I have. We
Mm.
got an offer. I'm gonna check it out while you do this one.
Okay, well, I'll go solo. This is a Hart Schaffner Marks pair of pants. They were new, but these actually were purchased at a regular thrift store. I think they were bought at Goodwill, actually. So a lot of times you can find these dress pants new with tags at thrift stores because, I don't know, for whatever reason, people don't buy them. These are, I think they're unhemmed too. Anyway, these sold for $57. Hart Schaffner Marks. We don't really buy pants if they're used. Maybe we should because these sold for quite a bit of money, but they did take a while to sell. Listed $624. So if you see a pair of new with tags, Hart Schaffner Marks. Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah.
If you see a pair that's new, pick them up. If they're not new, probably put them back, in my opinion.
So Olukai boots. Now our last video we sold one. Well, we had another pair. So somebody obviously saw the video and was like, "We need that pair of boots." And these sold for $80. Yeah, it was an $80 offer. So like I said, they sold really quickly. They're really nice. Olukai, mostly known for I would assume they're like, what do you think? They're sandals and flip flops and
I would say so,
and
yeah.
stuff like that. So this was a more substantial piece. That I hate when people say piece.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but
not a lot of comps on the boots
Yeah.
either. I actually bought these. I paid, I think, $25 for them, so decent little profit. But looking up comps for them was a little hard. So sometimes you can just kind of trust your gut and not go off the comps. Normally go off the comps, but sometimes.
well, and then Olukai as a brand normally sells pretty well.
Yeah,
so
you gotta
if
know the
you couldn't
brands.
find a comp on it, you're like, well, Olukai sells well, boots sell well. So.
Yeah, if these are $25
Pick it
in their boots. They got to be better than a pair of sandals that sell for $30. So that was my logic on buying those. Smart Wool. Here is a Smart Wool. It's just a wool T-shirt. I don't know if there's anything wrong with it. I'm assuming not because it sold for $35. It's a size small too, so even the small size Smart Wool stuff will sell, and it will sell quickly. This was listed $924. So I would say Smart Wool is definitely an A-tier brand. If you see it and there's no, even if there is holes, sometimes you can pick it up if it's cheap enough. But if you see it
with holes for like $20.
yeah, if you see it and it's in decent shape and you can get it for maybe under $10, almost always pick it up.
And there's a lot of other brands too coming to mind. Not really, but
the merino wool brands.
And if you see a merino wool kind of like a base layer like that, normally 9 times out of 10 it's pretty good. Machiavelli.
Ooh,
wow.
Tupac.
It's got Tupac on it. I believe that's probably why we looked at it in the first place, because
everything Tupac sells.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Once again, Y2K, grunge. A lot of the times I don't know if we're using these words right, grunge and stuff like that. But
grunge is a good keyword.
I know, but I don't know if we're using it correctly. Like, how is this grunge?
Because it has a little bit of like a wear, a fading, like, you know, I don't know.
Anyway, it sold for like $35, and it sold in a couple months. So not crazy fast, but probably average time. So not too bad.
Grunge is a good keyword. You can use it with like a Carhartt jacket that's in bad shape. Use the keyword grunge, and you can not only sell it faster, but sell it for like $20 more just by adding the word grunge for some reason. Lululemon ABC pants. These actually were a thrift store find as well. They were marked up as a for-profit thrift store, so they were marked up a little bit, but they sold for $77.90, and I think we paid less than $20 for them. I want to say like $15, $13, something like that. So it was a great find, great sale. Lululemon ABC pants are pretty strong sellers for us, used and new. So
If you know what ABC stands for, leave it in the comments.
yeah, ABC. This is an albino Prado jacket. I think Tony listed this actually.
It did.
It wasn't in.
You bought it though.
Yeah, it wasn't in amazing shape. Had a little bit of wear.
Not good shape.
Yeah, not great shape. Had some wear, some weird discoloration on it, but it did sell for $55, and it sold pretty quickly at that price. This is a really good brand. The prices are kind of all over the place, but if you see this little AP, oh, I can't see it because our face is in the way. If you can see it here. If you can see this AP, it doesn't.
I probably took a close up of it if you go through this.
Let's see.
Yep.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, this logo right here. So
You're welcome.
So if you see this logo, a lot of times it doesn't even say albino Prado on. Like this has it nowhere else other than this AP. It doesn't say it spelled out.
You know where it is?
Anywhere, but
on our free men's list.
Yes. So that's where I was getting to. We have a list in the description of this video. It's also in our link tree if you guys are interested in learning some brands for free.
Oh,
okay, here you go. Here it is on the list, albino and Prado. This AP right here, which is how I found it. I had never found it before, and then I remember going through this list when I was making it, and I saw, oh, that's a cool logo, and it found it at the thrift store. Only reason I found it was because of this list, and it did sell for $55, right within this price range that we have here. As you can see, the sell-through rate's not crazy, but it does have a high ASP. So if you're looking for brands, you don't know, you're kind of new to reselling, you want some brands to learn, to memorize, this sheet's a great tool. It has all the logos, which was a big deal for me because memorizing a list of names is hard, but if I can see the logo, I'll actually be able to find it. So if you want this free resource, we have it in the description, and you guys can check that out and get some quality.
The two things about albino Prado, I almost said something else. One, your thrift store is not going to know what it is. Like you're going to find, if you do find it, it's going to be cheap. And two, it's one of those brands that doesn't have a lot of name recognition, so I don't think a lot of people are searching for it. That's why the sell-through rate's a little bit lower, but it is still expensive. So when somebody does buy it, even if it takes a couple months, it's gonna sell for more money because the people that know what it is know how much it goes for. So you just gotta be a little patient with it.
That wasn't marked up at all either for that reason he just mentioned.
Yeah. All right, next one we got here are two Magellan shirts. A lot of people probably don't buy Magellans, and we understand why, but these were, I believe, both of them were new. So a lot of the times those lower tier brands, if they're new and we can get them for cheap, we'll still pick them up. I know this one says $9.68 and that one says $5.39. Those were both cost average days, so we did not pay that much for it. We probably paid around the $2 range for them. But put them together, somebody, both two sizes. I mean, they're two different sizes, which is kind of weird, but they bought both of them, didn't return them, so sold for $48. Take that all day.
Next is just a regular Adidas climate-proof jacket. Now the
Adidas golf.
Yes. So the windbreaker golf jackets do sell for a little bit more. We're not picking up everything Adidas, but we do pick up the more substantial pieces when they're in decent condition and the sizes are good. Large is a decent size. So this sold for, I believe, like $30, and it sold relatively quickly. Listed $7.24. So if you see Adidas outerwear, always look it up and see if it's good.
Or cool patterns. If it has cool patterns, it helps too. That's everything. Some Taylor Vintage. We bought these, and it was kind of a test. Taylor Vintage, we see it all the time, but we
got a really high retail.
Yeah, really high retail. The sell-through is not the best on it, but they were new. We didn't pay a ton for them. I think it was around $7 to $10 for new. That's pretty normal for a new item. These sold for $42. They're not selling the quickest, but when they do sell, they sell for decent money, like that $42 range. So if you can hold stuff for a couple months, you'd be in good shape.
And if we see something like this with a really high retail value, a lot of times we just test it. I mean, you're not going to find out if it sells if you don't test it. Because
I love how you got serious with this.
Yeah, very serious. Because, a lot of times the eBay search is not reliable. If you've been reselling for any amount of time, you can attest to that. It's not always reliable, so sometimes you got to test stuff. I'm not saying buy 100 of these,
Or
but
if you put one word different, the amount of items that come up in the search is way skewed in one direction, one or the other. So it's hard to get a good reading on exactly, what the sell-through rate is.
okay. Next is a pair of Nike shorts. These have a very specific pattern. I looked up the exact item by looking up this Nike number here. So this CV1905-010, that's the item identifier for Nike. You should be able to pull up pretty much any Nike item by searching that. These sold for $28.50, and they sold pretty much instantly. Listed $10.24. Yeah, any type of really vibrant,
psychedelic, man.
yeah, any vibrant Nike thing, look it up because sometimes they're worth crazy money.
This is a Houston Rockets polo by the brand Nike. And if you can see that in the title, we put Houston Rockets first and Nike at the end, because if somebody's looking for Rockets stuff, they're not going to type in Nike Houston Rockets. They're just going to type in Houston Rockets. So we put the most important stuff in the beginning of the title. And yeah, it sold for that $26 price, and it sold pretty quickly. I mean, it's a few months, but I mean, something like this, basketball season starting back up, so people are wanting their basketball stuff. So.
It's a bread and butter for sure.
Yeah. Sports teams. Sports!
Ed Hardy. This is an Ed Hardy. I think it's just a T-shirt.
It's a long sleeve.
Oh, I lied. Well, long sleeve tee.
Yeah.
This sold for $23. Actually, I think it sold for $18. But it did sell for a decent amount for what it is. It's not a real substantial piece. Ed Hardy is not honestly a great brand if it's not vintage. It seems to have kind of went into that lower tier. But if you can buy it cheap, maybe still pick it up. This was listed $9.24, so sold pretty quickly. Some of the jeans can go for crazy money if they're vintage.
Now this, on the other hand, Carhartt denim button down, and it's pearl snap. So this, anything I think denim button down, especially if it's pearl snap, has done pretty well for us, performed well. I mean, we sold stuff that is a way lower tier brand than Carhartt. That was, I think, Gap. We sold some Gap stuff for in the mid-20s because it was denim. But this one sold for $41.80, and it sold very quickly. It's the right time of year for this kind of stuff too. So, and we can always put Western in the title if we want to. I don't think this one Western would have fit in this title, so we didn't put it. The more important thing was the denim and the pearl snap and the flat pocket. So we made sure that stuff was in there before the Western.
So. This is an LL Bean Primaloft vest. This sold for $28. LL Bean outerwear is always going to be good. It's not worth like hundreds of dollars, but it's always going to be in that $30 to $50 price range. Even the women's stuff can be good if it's the right size. So definitely be on the lookout for LL Bean outerwear. It does sell pretty well for us. Listed $6.24, so it took a minute to sell though. Not that right there is kind of
well, I mean, it was an outerwear piece in the summer. So.
Yeah, but it's a less desirable LL Bean piece. Still pretty decent though.
This is a Callaway jacket, and if you don't know Callaway, it's a golf brand. So we try to put golf in the title for Callaway, especially if it can fit. But this was almost like more of a puffer style. So it had a filling, but it wasn't like huge. So we didn't really mention it because we didn't want to mislead the customer thinking that it was going to be some huge puffer jacket. But it sold very quickly, about a month, for $28. So nothing crazy. You're not gonna get a ton of money out of Callaway, but something more substantial like this, you'll easily be able to get mid-20s to mid-30s for something like this.
All right, what do we got next? Next is just a Life is Good shirt. This is a bread and butter item for sure. They're gonna sell for like $15, but if you pay $2 for them, you're making $10, and we're happy for making $10 because we are volume sellers. Not much else to say about this. Just a nice bread and butter sale.
This is a Brooks Brothers cashmere. This is a
wow. This
story.
Is old.
This is a funny story actually. The person wanted to return this because they said there's this logo down here. I don't know if it's not a logo. It's embroidery that says DD, right? And clearly, photos taken of it. You can see it in all the photos. And they were like, there wasn't mentioned in the listing that there was DD embroidery, and I can't wear it. Like, what do you mean it's not? You can see it. 3 different
it's
photos.
Impossible to
like,
wear.
How do you not miss it? Like, it's crazy. But they returned it. So, but Cashmere Brooks Brothers, easily going to sell for a lot of money. This one took a little bit longer to sell. Don't know why, but sometimes stuff just gets buried and doesn't sell quickly. But yeah, I think it sold for in the mid 40s, so we took a little bit lower of an offer on it, and then now it's coming back. So hopefully somebody else will buy it that has the initials DD.
This is a PXG sweater. It's a good size 2XL golf pullover. PXG is a really good golf brand as well. One of the few that is still pretty decent. Obviously, the pullovers and outerwear kind of stuff is more expensive, going to sell for more money, but the polos are decent as well. So be on the lookout for this PXG.
It's something you're not going to be able to. You're not going to find a ton of the apparel. They're more of a club, a golf club brand. So the apparel, if you do find it, that's why it's good, because there's not a ton of it out there. At least in our experience. These are bonobos, flannel lined. We're way more picky about bonobos nowadays and the price and what it is. We bought this mainly because it was flannel lined. It sold pretty quickly, but it didn't sell for a ton. So just be a little bit more careful about your bonobos nowadays.
The flannel line stuff is pretty decent.
Yeah, that's a safer one. But
this is just a pair of Vineyard Vines swim trunks. We only buy these if they have the crazy patterns and they're really cheap. This had both, so we bought them, and they sold for $18 pretty quickly.
Bob's, just some classic Bob's. I mean,
ooh, this is an auto posture.
This is an auto posture sale. So if you don't know, we have auto posture, and you can use our link if you want to. Resell Bros.
You get 15% off.
You get 15% off, and then but this sold for $10. It's something that was recreated. So we manually recreate our listings after so long, and this one had been on there forever, so we recreated it, and then it sold in a month, and it was a lot. Well, it was August, so 2 months. So yeah, it sold. It helps a lot. You can basically refresh your listings. It's almost like a brand new listing. It is a brand new listing because it's recreated. So that kind of stuff. It helps you be able to list in every subcategory every day, because you're recreating and making brand new listings in every category. Stuff that has been sitting for a long time, because we don't typically list in female shoes. It was sitting for a long time, but now with that recreate, it's hitting more on the algorithm and selling more often. So,
and we have a bunch of videos on auto posture. I'll link some of them right here on this at this point in the video, so you guys can see and watch a full video on that and see how it can help your business possibly. And if you're not interested, don't click on the link.
Like I said, we sell a lot of stuff, so we wouldn't tell you something if it didn't work. We've been using it for a while now, and it works. So.
Yeah, we are definitely resellers first, YouTubers second, so we're not trying to push a bunch of affiliates to make a bunch of affiliate money.
Yeah, we don't make very much money off of it.
Next is a North Face vest. It's new at tags, but it has this logo on it, Honest Tea. So obviously that's going to bring the value down some, but this did sell for $33.25, and it sold really quickly. If the logo is not crazy, it doesn't necessarily hurt the value a lot on men's clothes in particular, because a lot of times guys just don't care. But this is a pretty decent sale for us. We didn't pay much for it.
I've never heard Honest Tea said out loud.
Sounds like honesty.
It sounds like honesty. Yeah, that's cool. I didn't even realize that. I mean, I've heard it, I guess, said out loud before. But anyway, just a regular old Nike hoodie. We picked this stuff up for pretty cheap, but there's a ton of it on eBay, so it's not going to sell fast. This one did, so the odds of it selling fast aren't that high. But we promote, obviously, and then we didn't price it crazy high, $22. Sold fast, so you can still sell this stuff, but we're not telling you like, hey, go out and buy all the Nike stuff you want. It's going to sell really quickly. It might not. So just be prepared if you do pick that
hoodies.
stuff up.
Hoodies this time of year do pretty well for Nike, but it's definitely because of the time of year. Eli Cattleman shirt. This is a good size, extra large, tall. Just a pretty basic Western shirt. These things are going to sell between $15 to $20, but they're going to sell consistently at that price range. As you can see, this was listed $10.24. Sold pretty much instantly, so definitely a bread and butter bolo.
Yeah, it sold on an offer, so main theme, take the offers.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's $2 or $3 less of an offer than you wanted to take, it's worth it. Just take the offer, trust me. J. Crew pants, it helps the algorithm. It sells, helps everything.
Yeah,
Anyway, J. Crew pants, these were new. Pick up a lot of J. Crew dress pants. They're easy. They tell you what they are, so it makes it quick and easy list. These sold for $44, and they sold not crazy fast. J. Crew is something that's normally going to take a few months to sell. Sometimes they sell really fast. Sometimes it takes a little bit. But these were new, sold really decent for us. So we like picking it up.
I feel like you were going to say really fast.
I was going to, and I fixed it.
Sold for a decent amount.
Yep.
Next is a Nike shirt. This is just an extra large, not extra large, a 2XL V-neck T-shirt. Sold for $15.20. Sold really quickly. Only paid $2 for it. Well, at least it was probably on a really. We had some trips where we shop where we try to buy a bunch of stuff cheap. That's probably on one of those trips. Definitely picked it up because of the size, though. If it was like a small or medium, wouldn't have bought it.
Land's End. Don't buy a ton of Land's End, but this time of year we can find a lot of Land's End vests and coats that are down.
There's a lot of Land's
and
End.
A lot of Land's End down, and I mean, in my opinion, the women's stuff sells better than the men's and this kind of thing. At least that's what we've seen. I don't know if it's because we found more, so
I think it's because
we
found more.
But they obviously, if they make more, that's more women are buying it. But this one sold for $26, and it was white. So white's normally a good color for vests and stuff like that. It's just hard because a lot of times stuff's wrong with them. But sold quick, down, always good. And puffer.
Construct. This was, I think I've seen this brand in Nordstrom before. I don't know if we've talked about it before, but the brand, it sells for a decent amount retail. Sell-through rate doesn't look great when you look it up. As you can see, it was listed for $24, so it took a minute to sell. But it did sell for $20, and based off what we paid for it, it's a pretty decent pickup. If you're a volume seller, maybe look at it. If you're looking to turn your inventory over quickly, maybe leave Construct at the store. Don't pick it up.
Brooks Brothers V-neck. Main thing about this one is it's more of a lightweight sweater that's just cotton. It's a big and tall 2XLT, but it was new with tags. It sold for $48, and it sold very quickly.
Well, that's good too. Actually, not very quickly. Listed $524.
Oh, $524.
But that's pretty good. If you're getting half of retail for an item, you can't really beat that. J. Hilburn cashmere sweater, size 2XLT. So J. Hilburn, it's kind of a hit or miss brand. Obviously, the cashmere is what helped this sell. Mainly known for their suits. So if you see a J. Hilburn, you're probably going to see a suit. And the suits can be really good, so always look that up. But J. Hilburn cashmere sweater sold for $39.90. Pretty good pickup for us.
Cable knit. If you see cable knit, normally helps it out too. Another Brooks Brothers cashmere. This one's a blend though, so we put cashmere blend, but this only has like 5% cashmere.
It's still there.
Still put cashmere blend in the title, but you're not gonna sell it for a ton of money. This one sold for $17, but it sold fast, as you can see. So if you don't price it up real crazy high, you can still sell it. So a lot of people don't pick up Brooks Brothers.
Patagonia. This is just a lightweight Patagonia long sleeve shirt. Got a little graphic on the back, kind of cool. Sold for $28.50 and sold really quickly. Oh, excuse me. A lot of these Patagonia things don't sell for a ton, but they will sell quickly. So it's kind of a reoccurring theme with the brand.
The
Patagonia.
weird graphics do well too. So Johnny O, this one the pinstripe because it's really small stripes across. But Johnny O, we found, does not sell for as much as it used to. So we stopped listing it as high, and it's starting to sell more often again. So I think we only sold this one for like $18. So maybe instead of paying $7, $8, $9 for Johnny O like we used to probably 2 years ago, now we're only pay $5 at the max. For
it. Even the new stuff we find doesn't sell.
If
for
it's
that
a bigger
much.
like a quarter zip or something like a jacket or something like that, or a vest, that's a little different. But just the normal polo that there's a million of.
Yeah, not
be
crazy.
Realistic with your stuff.
Some people are so unrealistic with their pricing. Like you'll see something that's priced.
Well, I think they get a weird attachment to items. Like it's supposed to sell for more, so I'm going to make sure it sells for more.
Yeah, your items aren't your kids. Don't get too attached. Next is a Harry Potter item. Speaking of attached, this is a Harry Potter Quidditch hoodie. We actually pick up a lot of Harry Potter stuff. It seems to sell really quickly for us. Obviously not for a lot of money because it doesn't cost a lot retail. But this sold for $19.
Depends on where you buy it.
Yeah, well, it sold for $19 and it sold pretty much instantly. Just a little Harry Potter hoodie.
The
Universal Harry Potter.
Yeah, that stuff. But what are the schools? I forget the different houses.
Gryffindor,
Yeah, the
Slytherin.
Gryffindor stuff. There's a bunch of Gryffindor stuff. So sometimes you got to be specific about those. But the other houses, there's
Hufflepuff.
yeah, sometimes there's not as much as those, so they sometimes sell a little bit quicker. So keep that in mind. Anyway, this is just a Columbia jacket. Now this one was a cool one because it was duck down, but it also had Omni heat. So if you see that almost like reflector style on the inside of your coat, that means it's Omni heat. You should put that in the title, and you should always look it up. I think I Google Lens this one and found the exact one it is. It's more of a long coat. So it's
There's the Omni.
yeah, pretty pricey coat retail, but yeah,
Dang,
sold
so
for
quick.
had it listed for $100, took a $75 offer. We only paid $20 for it, so good profit. Get it out, get it going.
Oh, this is, maybe you should do this one. Tony bought this.
This is an Adidas Arsenal training jersey. So this is what they wear, supposedly. I don't know, but this is a training jersey. What they wear at practice. And yeah, that Arsenal is a really good soccer team. It's football. They're in Europe, and they're one of the most popular teams, if not the most popular team. And brand wise, so their stuff sells quickly. It was new. The thrift store had it priced. I mean, they priced some jerseys up a little bit. This one was just around $10. So I knew it would sell relatively quickly. Looked it up, Google Lensed it, found out the title, the name, the specific training jersey it was. If it was a game jersey, it might have been worth even a little bit more, but this one was only $55 sale, so yeah, still pretty good.
If you know your soccer jerseys, there's a ton of money to be made because not a lot of people know much about soccer jerseys here in the old US of A, more of a football country, but it's crazy. Some of these soccer jerseys are just ridiculous. Even like the vintage ones, like we've sold vintage soccer jerseys for crazy money. All right, guys, we're going to wrap this part 1 up right here. We're going to do a part 2 and release it on Sunday.
Too many sales.
So this video is coming out Saturday. Part 2 is going to come out Sunday. We want to make sure we show you guys as many sales as possible so you can see what it takes to be at that $600,000 to $750,000 mark as a reseller, supporting 2 people for full-time incomes. So we want to make sure you guys have as many sales to reference as possible. And don't forget to click on our auto posture link for 15% off if you're interested in signing up. It has been one of the biggest game changers for us this year as opposed to years prior. It's really helped us hit every single category and make sure that we're listing and hitting our goals in every category and subcategory every single week, every single day. And it has dramatically improved our sales, and we're seeing a more variety of sales in our store, and we've really noticed the difference. But make sure you click on the link or use our code to support the channel. We really appreciate it. That's all we have for this.
And if you don't want to do any of that, like, comment, subscribe. That's the very least you can do. We appreciate it 100%. We love you guys. And yeah, stay tuned for that part 2 coming out very soon.